This week on ANN, Adventist entities in Northern California are impacted as wildfires draw near.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency elects a president.
And Creation Sabbath is coming up. We have all the information on where to find resources for your own event.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news. Only a few weeks after being threatened by wildfires, the Northern California communities of Angwin and St. Helena are again facing fires that have forced thousands of people in those communities to evacuate.
According to CAL FIRE, the glass fire began at 4 a.m. on September 27 in an area west of Angwin and north of Deer Park and St. Helena. The fire quickly spread and has now encompassed more than 11,000 acres. The glass fire, Shady, Boysen, Zog, and North Complex West fires are currently raging in this region.
Several well-known Adventist institutions have been impacted by the fire and resultant evacuation order. According to the Pacific Union College Twitter feed, the college has evacuated more than 200 students who are on campus, but the school is safe. The entire Angwin community has also evacuated the area as a precautionary measure.
Adventist Health runs St. Helena Hospital, the oldest Adventist hospital in operation. The staff were able to evacuate all 55 patients and relocate them to other facilities.
The Northern California Conference provided an update on the fire and the impact on local members and church employees.
The report states that several pastors may have lost their homes, but all members are safe and accounted for. The Foothills Adventist Elementary School in Deer Park lost one of the buildings on its campus, but the rest of the school survived the flames.
School principal Rob Ingram was quoted as saying, "Please pray for our students, our families, and our staff. Pray for us as we move forward to go where God is leading us." Pacific Union Conference Director of Education Barry Von Poole reports that Ingram's first action this morning was to connect with his faculty who, in turn, reached out to make certain that all of their students were safe and their families are out of harm's way.
The Haven Adventist Church Community Service Center, located near the Foothills Elementary School, was also destroyed in the fire, but the main church building, located near the St. Helena Hospital, was not damaged.
At the time of this recording, the local historical Adventist landmark Elmshaven, which was home to Ellen White before she died, escaped damage from the fire. More information can be found on the Elmshaven Facebook page.
The glass fire still threatens many homes and businesses. We ask you to join us in prayer for the greater Angwin and St. Helena communities.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, announced on September 29 that its board of directors has unanimously elected Michael Kruger as its new president, effective immediately. Kruger was elected interim president in October 2019 to complete the 5-year term of former president Jonathan Duffy. A search committee appointed by ADRA's board of directors conducted a global executive search to identify a permanent president, and after an extensive review of candidates, the board selected Kruger. During his 6 years at ADRA, Kruger has played a key role in a period of enormous growth and transformation for the organization. He served as vice president for finance during a time of accelerated financial expansion, ensuring ADRA could operate more efficiently and transparently. In the past year as interim president, he steered ADRA through the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, leading ADRA's global response, which impacted nearly 20 million people in 96 countries through 422 projects. Responding to his appointment, Kruger focused on ADRA's mandate to care for hurting and dispossessed peoples around the globe and to bring sustainable development regions challenged by war, poverty, and natural disasters. I am deeply humbled to serve as ADRA's president. I accept this position with great responsibility and pray to God for guidance so that ADRA can continue to be a source of justice, compassion, and love for millions of vulnerable and marginalized people around the world. As we look to the future, Adra will work tirelessly to ensure that we can adjust to emergent challenges and can respond effectively not only in times of crisis, but to long-term development problems. I'm committed to strengthening Adra's ministry in alliance with the Adventist Church to ensure that together we can provide healing to a world in need.
Beginning October 6th, we kick off the 2020 Lead Conference and Annual Council. Annual Council is one of the 2 yearly meetings of the Seventh-day Adventist Church's Executive Committee. The Executive Committee is the second highest governing body of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It's only second to the delegates of the General Conference session, which takes place every 5 years. During Annual Council, members of the committee, commonly referred to as delegates, vote on policies and reports that are necessary for the operation of the church. Before Annual Council kicks off, church leaders will participate in the Lead Conference or the Leadership Education and Development Conference. This year, the conference will be centered around the Seventh-day Adventist World Church's new strategic plan, I Will Go. You can watch this year's meetings at live.adventist.org. For information on when to watch, visit executivecommittee.adventist.org. We'll be back next week with more news and highlights from this year's Lead Conference.
Have you ever seen thousands of birds flying together, twisting and turning in tight formation? It's truly amazing. Evening seems to be the preferred time for some species to do these spectacular displays called murmurations.
Murmurating grackles are the subject of 2020's Creation Sabbath film, God's Enduring Song of Love. Each year, a short film is produced for Creation Sabbath that is designed to draw viewers' minds to the wonder of God's creation.
These films are for personal viewing and reflection, sharing on social media and sharing together as a group of worshipers during Creation Sabbath celebrations.
Creation Sabbath is allocated as the fourth Sabbath of each October. This year, it falls on October 24th.
This is a specially designated Sabbath in Adventist Church's calendar set aside for contemplation of God's grace in our creating our wonderful world for habitation, recognizing our responsibility to care for what He has made and seizing the opportunity to learn from His works.
You can visit creationsabbath.net to get more information on Creation Sabbath, as well as more resources, sermons, and graphics so your church can celebrate on October 24.
Watch God's Enduring Song of Love at the Creation Sabbath website, or look for it on Hope Channel and other Adventist media. Better yet, share it on social media, and be sure to share it with the rest of your church on Creation Sabbath, October 24.
Coming up, Guide Magazine has an important message during the pandemic.
But up next, Adventists in South America conduct Bible studies online.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system, the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the seventh-day Sabbath. The first 6 columns of the grid belong to the designer. It can be filled with anything: text, images, illustrations, patterns, and logos. But the 7th column, the Sabbath column, does not belong to them. It is meant to be different and special. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
When I first felt called to be a minister, I didn't want to be a typical pastor with a suit and a tie. One of the things I appreciated most about Christ was His ability to defy convention. Once, when I moved away from a place where I was pastoring, one of my friends said, "We're going to miss you. You're so unusual." I take that as a compliment. I'm someone who likes a challenge. I love to test my limits. I've been running for more than 35 years, most days of the week. I love to run, especially in nature. It's time alone with God where I can recharge. I run first thing in the morning so I can prepare emotionally and spiritually for whatever I might experience that day. I find my greatest fulfillment in relating to people who aren't Adventist or even Christian. We have to meet people where they are. That's what Jesus did, and it's still our responsibility today. I have friends who are Christians and atheists, gay and straight, old and young, of all races and ethnicities. I'm a biker, a runner, and a pastor. I'm extremely blessed. My name is Stephen Chavez, and this is my whole life.
Welcome back.
Bible studies by WhatsApp and video conference on Zoom, the evangelism process has changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it did not discourage a group of Adventists from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
The group joined together, elected Bible instructors, and have been studying the Bible with more than 150 people online since March.
The Adventist Church in South America sent this report.
Igrejas fechadas, instrutores bíblicos impedidos de visitarem as casas dos interessados. Neste cenário, efeito da pandemia do novo coronavírus, adventistas da região de Alcântara, Rio de Janeiro, criaram uma classe bíblica virtual. Você vai se surpreender com a quantidade de gente de várias partes do Brasil que participam do projeto.
Nós identificamos uma grande necessidade de pessoas que estavam sozinhas em casa, isoladas. Então, essa necessidade acabou fomentando um casal da igreja, a começar pelos familiares. Começaram ali convidando alguns familiares, pensaram em montar um grupo do WhatsApp, uma classe bíblica virtual. E ali eles começaram com os familiares, mas viram que os familiares não seria suficiente. Começaram com os amigos também, os amigos foram aceitando. Depois foram ampliando para a sua rede ali de contatos. E essa classe virtual hoje já está com mais de 100 pessoas, cerca de 150 pessoas estudando a Bíblia todos os sábados ali com esse grupo do WhatsApp. Durante a semana nós enviamos ali os estudos, né, as lições, eles vão fazendo e podem tirar dúvidas pelo WhatsApp mesmo. Mas o grande momento seria no sábado à noite, onde nós temos ali uma sala virtual via Zoom, e essa sala é aberta e as pessoas entram ali na sala, tiram as dúvidas aos instrutores, e assim nós vamos interagindo virtualmente com essas pessoas, acalmando os corações delas e trazendo a palavra de Deus para elas também. Então nós estamos vendo que nesse momento de pandemia nós não poderíamos ficar parados. Então aproveitamos esse momento de angústia, de aflição das pessoas e exatamente nutrimos elas com a necessidade que elas precisavam. Então está sendo ótimo.
A auxiliar de Serviços Gerais Dalva é uma das participantes. Ela conheceu a Igreja Adventista através da TV Novo Tempo. Mesmo frequentando outra denominação, seu desejo era de conhecer mais.
Eu já tinha essa vontade já, só que eu não sabia aonde achar. Eu não sabia por onde começar. Eu ia para a igreja, mas eu saía do mesmo jeito. E quando eu comecei a estudar a palavra, aquilo foi entrando dentro do meu coração, eu comecei a sentir a verdade, que eu vi que ali que era a verdadeira palavra de Deus.
E o que a Dalva aprende pelo WhatsApp, ela passa também para os amigos.
O pouco que estou aprendendo, eu já estou passando para as pessoas. Eu já passo pelo WhatsApp, eu já falo pelo telefone. E são pessoas que são cristãs, de outras denominações, são meus amigos e pessoas até que assim, eu conheço, eu estou tentando passar também o que eu estou aprendendo, que é a verdade, né? E Deus, eu falo, lanço a semente e quem vai convencer é Jesus, é Deus, né? O Espírito Santo de Deus convence eles, eu sei que eu faço.
Dalva já tomou a decisão pelo batismo e para alcançar mais pessoas como ela, o pastor Cladson deixa um recado.
As pessoas hoje estão muito acessíveis, elas estão perguntando o que está acontecendo no mundo. A grande questão hoje, o que vai acontecer conosco, né, com a humanidade? Nós temos a resposta e podemos acessar essas pessoas, podemos trazer confiança para elas, trazer esperança para elas e ali, a partir daquele momento, estudar a Bíblia e fazer os apelos para entregarem a vida a Jesus. Eu faço um apelo também a todos que participem disso, né? Façam isso também.
Life Talk Radio, a media ministry of the North American Division of Seventh-day Adventists, has launched a 24-hour online radio channel designed especially for children. The division's only owned and operated radio network now features Life Talk Kids, which offers a variety of Bible-based, character-building, and educational programs for children of all ages. The programs on Life Talk Kids include adventure stories from Your Story Hour, Adventures in Odyssey, and Discovery Mountain, Bible-based programs such as the Bible and Living Sound, and legacy programs such as Stories from Book by HMS Richards Jr. Additional programs include Awesome Science, Nature Corner, and Ranger Bill. Manager and director of Life Talk Radio, John Gelly, said, "We've had this project in the works for many months, but when the pandemic hit, things slowed down. We praise the Lord. Everything finally launched. We're thrilled to offer this new resource for kids." The dedicated website, lifetalkkids.net, features a fun section with links for special resources, including Bible guides, coloring pages, grace-linked Sabbath school lessons, videos, plus additional on-demand stories and activities. Life Talk Kids will also be available on the Life Talk Radio app when it's released in the near future.
Sanitarian Health Food Company partnered with Sprout Cooking School to launch a new program teaching children skills and principles for healthy living on International Cooking Day, Friday, September 25. The 12 Before 12 initiative gives parents tools to empower primary-age children to understand meal selection and food preparation, learning 12 essential food skills before they turn 12 years old. Nutrition experts at Sanitarium joined forces with dietitian Themis Chrysidis and MasterChef contestant Callum Hahn from Adelaide's Sprout Cooking School to develop 12 Before 12. Grouped into 4 key areas: shopping, prepping, cooking, and eating, the 12 Before 12 skills cover the complete food journey from planning meals and choosing nutritious options at the store. The system teaches hands-on tools and techniques children need in the kitchen and the social behaviors that make mealtime a positive experience for the whole family. These food skills form the basis of a new Sanitarium cookbook, available as a free digital download from the 12 Before 12 website. To learn more about the 12 skills and download a free copy of the 12 Before 12 cookbook, visit 12before12.sanitarium.com.au.
Guide Magazine has produced Death's Doom, a 16-page outreach magazine for readers ages 10 through 14 that uses Guide's famous storytelling technique, along with related sidebars to help kids understand the biblical view of death and the hope in a future resurrection.
This interactive issue includes an issue-wide puzzle and access to a website with additional resources that reach young and old alike.
According to Barna Research, 30% of the world's population is under the age of 15, and 70% of children are born into non-Christian homes. 40 million children in North America haven't heard the gospel, and 85% of all Christians accept Christ before the age of 14.
Literature Ministries Director for the Adventist Church in North America, Carl McCroy, said, "The challenges and opportunities represented by these numbers give us a clear mandate to invest in children's evangelism. Helping children deal with painful and confusing situations through compelling, Bible-based storytelling has been more effective in building up the kingdom than apologetics directed at adults."
Guide editors said they planned Death's Doom before the pandemic and feel the message is needed. In upcoming special issues, Guide will focus on Adventist distinctive beliefs.
Churches, schools, Pathfinder clubs, and families may order Death's Doom for zip code mailings to include it in care packages, distributed at Halloween or share one-on-one with kids and adults. Death's Doom is now available in all Adventist Book Centers across North American Division and can be ordered online at adventistbookcenter.com.
Coming up, Michael Yonker is here for This Week in Adventist History.
But up next, Adventist Mission shares the story of how Adventists are reaching millions in Southern Asia.
Where we are now, I listen, boom, boom, boom. I say to my wife, something don't go. We go to the garage and we go out, we see everything. Very bad. I not come to the house. I help the people here. 14 people, old woman, old man, babies, running to the blood. Somebody who dies here. I make pressure for the heart. Half hour. I cannot stay again. I don't want to die again.
You have found what makes you happy, and then everything else will come into play.
It's important to all. The brain is infinity and beyond. There's no reason to never stop. There's always a reason to start.
Family. Family.
I've never seen anyone that's so excited to see just me for no reason than just to see me. And I'm trying to be a better person for her. It's a work in progress. It's nice to see someone that sees you from those little innocent eyes, who sees me as the guy that she loves and comes and gives hugs to. And
whether it's for my 3 children or my friends or my family, if this does not exist, then it's meaningless.
I want to remember this moment now, when 20 years from now she's an adult. Hopefully she's come to be a good adult.
Welcome back.
The Adventist Church in Southern Asia is growing and now has more than 1.6 million members.
And yet a vast number of those people haven't heard the gospel news about Jesus. That is where Global Mission Pioneers come in to help.
Adventist Mission has more.
Jesus would have died for just one person of the 1.3 billion who live in India, Bhutan, Nepal, and the Maldives. That's how much he loves the people here in the Southern Asia division of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The work of the Adventist Church began in Southern Asia and India in 1893. 5 colporteurs, 2 from America and a family of 3 from New Zealand, arrived to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. The next year brought another missionary, Georgia Burris. The mission board of the Seventh-day Adventist Church paid Georgia's passage from the United States to India. Once there, she was responsible for her own living expenses, but God provided in miraculous ways. Later, she married a fellow missionary, and together they ministered in India for 40 years. From these humble beginnings, the Adventist Church in Southern Asia has grown to 1.6 million members. We praise God for this growth. But the vast majority of people in this region have not yet heard the good news about Jesus. Less than 1% of the population are Adventist. The Maldives, a country of 392,000 people, has no Adventist work. More than 800 languages are spoken in Nepal, Bhutan, and India. We have materials in only a handful of those languages. And yet church members, such as Global Mission Pioneers, are sharing the love of Jesus in communities throughout this vast territory. Urban centers of influence have been established in cities, and thousands are being helped through schools and medical institutions. Shir Memorial Hospital has been treating the sick in Nepal since 1960, and there are 11 more Adventist hospitals that offer holistic medical care in India. Thousands receive a holistic education at 144 Adventist secondary schools and 9 institutions of higher education across India, including Spicer Adventist University. Hope Channel India broadcasts in 9 languages, sharing stories of encouragement and inspiration to people such as Rajesh. Overwhelmed with financial difficulties in his family, Rajesh just couldn't concentrate at work. He lost his job and became depressed. One day he came across Hope Channel India's prayer line and asked for prayer. This was the first step in getting to know Jesus and finding hope for his family. He now has a new job to provide for his family. Please continue to pray for the people of India, Bhutan, Nepal, and the Maldives. And pray for the church. With limited resources, and in the face of many challenges, it seeks to remain faithful to God's call. Thank you for your mission offerings, which fuel mission in the Southern Asia Division and around the world.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMissions.org. Then click on videos at the top.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to Michael Yonker for a look at Adventist history.
During This Week in Adventist History, the Wisconsin and Illinois Conference were formed on September 27 and 28, 1862, at a meeting in Avon, Wisconsin. 8 years later, the conference was subdivided into the Wisconsin and Illinois conferences, which became part of the Lake Union in 1901. Some further complications occurred, with the Illinois Conference being subdivided into northern and southern halves in 1902, but by late 1918 it was combined again, except for Chicago, which finally rejoined the Illinois Conference family in 1931. Within the Illinois Conference, exactly 91 years after its first formation, on September 27, 1953, an 8-year-old boy, Chucky Richards, a 1949 polio victim, cut the ribbon to open Hinsdale Hospital. The hospital was able to open with special haste thanks to the generous contribution of Eugene and Kettering and his wife, Virginia, local residents, who helped provide the latest equipment for combating the disease, helping inaugurate Hinsdale Hospital with a quick opportunity to provide healing for its community. Also on this week, on October 1, 1971, the Adventist World Radio began its first broadcast under the guidance of the Radio and Television Department of the General Conference. They started with a 250 kilowatt transmitter they had leased from Lisbon, Portugal. Today it broadcasts in 77 major language groups around the world, with a potential coverage of 80% of the world's population. It utilizes both AM, FM, shortwave, satellite, podcasting, and the internet in its efforts to reach as many as possible. In an age where reaching people in person can be difficult, such efforts remain very valuable. That's This Week in Adventist History.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos and then write up a summary of the event's important details. And feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22.
The passage says, "Flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.